Have you ever heard the phrase mad as a hatter or seen Alice in Wonderland's Mad Hatter who was quite mad? Did you know that this character of the Mad Hatter is based off of real life events? So the phrase mad as a hatter, which might be me, is basically somebody who is like off the rails, just crazy. Crazy, right? You say, man, that person's mad as a hatter, and we're like, what the heck? Why are we talking about hats when we're talking about crazy people? Well, I never even knew that mad as a hatter was an actual term based off of real life crazies. And I kind of hate to use the term crazies because it went a little deeper than that. So in the 18th and 19th centuries, the hat making industry was very unsafe. Things were lax back then. We didn't know that things were poisonous, right? We didn't know. We still don't know to this day and age, like what is really that great for us. We're still always experimenting. And back in the 18th century and the 19th century, we just didn't have the science that we have today. So these hatters, as you will call them, these hatters were exposed to exorbitant, is that the word? Exorbitant amounts of, I feel like I didn't use that word right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Amounts of mercury. And we all know now that mercury is really unhealthy. Didn't you hear when you were a kid, like, don't bite the thermometer. If you eat the mercury, it'll kill you. I don't know if you ever heard that, but those glass thermometers, I was terrified of ever putting them in my mouth because I was always afraid I was going to bite it and drink the mercury, which possibly could really be bad. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're going to get mercury poisoning, right? So these guys were continuously exposed to mercury in the workplace, continuously. So this prolonged exposure to the mercury caused them all sorts of physical and mental ailments. It even made them start to shake and tremble, and they called that the Hatter's Shakes. Some of them would hallucinate. They would have speech problems. They would get emotionally unstable. Mercury is serious. It was seriously affecting these hatters. And can you believe that the mercury in the hatter's workplace wasn't banned until 1940, in the 1940s. It wasn't banned until, gosh, it took that long. Do you remember the story of President Lincoln's assassination? And do you remember John Wilkes Booth, the person who assassinated President Lincoln? Well, there's a story beyond that, which is quite crazy. John Wilkes Booth was actually killed by a man named Boston Corbett, who was deemed a Mad Hatter. Corbett had been employed as a hat maker since he was very young, and you can only imagine how much mercury he was exposed to. He became a religious zealot, and in 1858 found a pair of scissors and actually castrated himself to avoid dealing with his libido. So when they went on the manhunt for John Wilkes Booth after he killed Lincoln, they had people out and they basically said, we want him alive. If you find him, we want him alive. And so Corbett found him. Corbett wasn't going to put up with it, and he shot and killed John Wilkes Booth. And, maybe a lot of people thought that that was a great thing because he was a fugitive. He was on the run. And a lot of people also thought that maybe it wasn't such a great idea because they wanted to find out, the real reasoning behind everything, and thought that he took those actions because he was insane. Because it was considered that he was avenging the president's death, he was released and went right back to working as a hatter. He lived a solitary existence and just worked and lived and did his thing. And then in 1887, he was forced to go to a mental asylum. So he was put in the asylum because he went to a Kansas state house and started threatening everybody with a gun. And at that point, people kind of had it with him and felt like something more was going on, and they put him in the asylum. But he escaped. So this Mad Hatter was in the asylum for 1 year, and he escaped and was never seen again. Never seen again. Wasn't that mad if he could disappear off the face of the planet. Or maybe he was. Anyway, I found this story to be really, really, really interesting. I came across it listening to My Favorite Murder. They just talked a blip about it. And I had to look deeper. And so as soon as I started reading a little more deeply into it, I thought, oh, this is so interesting. I had to share. I know this is just a quick little video, a little snippet, but I wanted to share the story because I found it so interesting. Thank you so much for watching and continuing to support me. I hope that you have a great day. If you have suggestions for other stories that you'd like for me to share, it does not need to be true crime related. It does not. I'm just very interested in all things wacky. If you have any wacky things that you want to share with me, share them and I'd love to share them back. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.